Just close your eyes and then put your hand on your heart and then just, you know, again, this observing, thinking, processing. So, what you do, close your eyes and feel your heart as I play some sounds. So, again, thinking, observing what you're feeling, and then listening. Next one.
What? 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 What?
Okay. And next one. Okay. Okay. Let's open our eyes and check. Each of these sounds was a trigger. And the first one you might recognize because it often goes off at all sorts of times of the day and night. And that's your car alarm. And if you have a car and you hear the sound, guess what? The first thing that happens is you think, oh no, something's happened to my car. And so there's a reaction and there's a whole bunch of thoughts that start triggering based on this one sound. The next one is somebody upset, annoyed, angry, don't know. But when you hear these questions, you immediately start your own thinking about what it could be, what it might be, and you go off in a whole story, even though all you've heard is one word. And the last one, of course, angry, barking dog. And if you're not a fan of dogs, then that can be, something that can cause a big shock. And if you're not prepared and you're walking along and this happens to you, again, causes a big shock to the system. So these are just some sounds, everyday sounds. And so that the exercise was listening, observing what was happening inside, what was the emotion, what was the energy that these sounds created. So this is the first step in building mental resilience. If we are not even aware of things that trigger us and the reactions that follow the trigger, then we're not going to be able to control the behavior. And that, of course, impacts our life in being able to perform at our best. So, every time there's a trigger, we may or may not be aware of it. And so mentally, sometimes you feel okay, you may feel energized, hopefully most of the time, especially if you are meditating on a regular basis, then your normal state of being should be calm, uh, feeling in control, relaxed, and energized. However, if you're not, what's happening? If you're at work, you're feeling stressed out, just the thought of even going to work causes tension, then clearly there's some energy at play and you need to unpack that. If you're at work and something happens, are you prepared? If somebody comes, upsets you, or It could be a family situation, at home, or you've gone to a gathering and something happens, and again you're triggered. Are you prepared? Were you caught unaware? What's happening? Do you get the feeling in some situations that it seems like you're enclosed in a box, almost like in a prison, and you feel trapped, you feel unable to cope, you feel that there's nothing you can do to change the situation. So these are some of the extremes that we experience in life, where when these extremes happen, we can recognize what's happening. In a sense, we're not at ease. So always check, and checking the energy level, checking your feelings is the first step. Now, if I'm not aware of feelings, and being in a male body, this is generally a bigger issue for the people in male bodies, and because we're generally a little bit more on the logical and analytic side rather than the emotional side. And so these are key questions for us. Now, I'm going to explore, with the help of Dr. Alan Watkins, how all of these are connected into our behavior and being able to perform at the highest level. Now, Dr. Watkins has been studying and exploring this subject for 18 plus years. He's a senior lecturer uh, at Imperial College. And so he has explored the topic in terms of how our emotions, how our feelings, when they're not under our control, can lead to negative performance. In other words, if I'm not able to understand and control the feelings, the emotions, then I'm at their mercy and I don't have control over my life. That's very opposite of building mental resilience. In building mental resilience, if we're meditating, it brings us into an energy state of bringing peace in. But before we can get there, we need to use our thoughts. So sending a thought to the mind, let's say I say, I am peaceful. So that's a very positive, very empowering thought. I am peaceful. So if I gave my mind this thought, am I immediately able to go into this deep sense of being peaceful? So for those of you who meditate on a regular basis, I probably guessed it'd say, no, it doesn't work like that. Just saying some words doesn't immediately create that feeling. Of course, if you are in the habit of practicing what's behind the words on a regular basis, and by regular, it can be, you know, every hour using traffic control. As a minimum, you're spending a good 10, 15, 30 minutes, 40 minutes every day, again, practicing. Then it becomes much more achievable. So let's look at what Dr. Alan Watkins is suggesting. So most people are aware when something's not working. So the slides earlier, we explored how in extreme situations, we know when things are not going well. And so we can say, okay, it's something at work, or somebody says something to me, this accident happened, etc., etc. So those are things that we know affect our well-being. So at a very high level, our mental well-being can be easily communicated, and we know what's happening. And we say, okay, I'm not feeling well because of this, because of that, and so on. But how about the times when you've not really done anything or had any major incident in your life, but you're generally not feeling well? or on an ongoing basis over a period of time, instead of being generally healthy, happy, peaceful, loving, etc., you are ups, you're feeling ups, or going through ups and downs, and generally you might be feeling low. And of course, now in the post-COVID world, there's a lot more actual illnesses going around, and so your body may not be in its best state. But what Dr. Watkins is saying is that most people are aware at the high level about performance and behavior, but they are not able to then translate that into the underlying factors that are impacting behavior. And so, what impacts your behavior is your thoughts. So, if I don't have positive, powerful thoughts, then my behavior will not be positive and powerful. And the feelings that underline that thought is, of course, something that I generally don't have control over. And if I don't have control over feelings, guess what? The emotions driving those feelings, the energy behind the feelings, is something I have very little control over. Of course, what he then found in his research is that everything starts with what he calls your psychology, your psychological factors, your physiological state. So physiological states are literally what's happening with the body. So we explored this whole listening to the sound, what's happening to the heart, the heartbeat. If I take a deep breath, just again, let go with a deep breath. Guess what? My lungs are taking in energy. The extra oxygen goes into my bloodstream. And when the heart pumps that oxygenated blood, my cells aren't starving for oxygen. So just taking a very deep breath and letting go is a physiological exercise using the heart and the lungs to revitalize, to energize the body. So, literally taking a deep breath is a very, very good exercise to just taking back control when we are not in a good state. So, that's the basis of Dr. Alan Watkins' research, sort of saying that you need to start from the ground up with the body and then work your way up. So most people are not really aware of this deep underlying things that are happening to them on a day-to-day basis. So if I'm not listening to my body, if there are aches and pains, my back is hurting, my legs hurt, my head hurts, there's all these pains coming from the body, and you just think, oh, I'm getting old, or maybe I woke up on the wrong side, etc., etc., then you kind of get into this pattern where you stop listening to the signals from your body, and you end up in a very bad state. And I've had, knock on wood, some problems with my back over the years. And I think about 10, 15 years ago, I came across a very good form of exercise for my back and a very, very good teacher. And then I started working on my back, built it up, and it's been really, really, very good. Now, COVID came along, I got lazy, and I stopped doing and focusing on some of the simple exercises I used to do. And then guess what? 2 years down the road, and suddenly I've got back issues, got back pains. And so there was signals that were coming to me from time to time, but I wasn't paying attention. And not only was I not paying attention, uh, with the energy that these aches and pains were causing, I was like, you know what? It's a small thing. I can deal with it. So there's a physiological signal, there's energy, there's emotions with the pain, and the feeling is, you know what? And I can't be bothered. It's I've got too much going on, and it'll go away. And so my pattern of thinking is, yes, there's some pain, and the pain is coming and going. But overall, I'm kind of like just telling myself, I'm literally thinking and telling myself, oh, I'm okay, or I'll be fine. So if you see what's happening, the body is signaling pain. The emotions associated with pain are saying, look, you need to do something to fix this. And the feelings are kind of mixed because although there's signals coming in from the body, my thinking and reasoning is saying, you know what, I'm okay. Now, do you recognize this way of thinking and being? If you're in a situation where things are not working, you keep on telling yourself, you know what, I'm okay, or I can deal with it, I'm fine. Your logic, your reasoning, your analysis says, you know what, I'm going to ignore my feelings and then I'll be okay. So you start at the thinking level, you tell yourself, I'm okay, expecting that, you know what, I'll be okay because I'm telling myself I'm okay. And then you expect to then be able to continue performing at your best. Now, you recognize this way of thinking and being. You say to yourself, yes, I'm okay, and ignore what's happening below you, and then say, oh, yeah, I'm okay. But you know you're not. And then over time, things don't work. So this is the basis of the research by Dr. Alan Watkins. And as I said, I'm big on being on studying and understanding and logic. And so he's going to perform an exercise, a live exercise, if you like, to show us how this actually has a very real impact. And so let's see this live exercise that he's performing.
Thank you. What's your name? Neil Nelson. So Neil is very kind. He has no idea what we're going to do to him, so this is really very brave. So first of all, we're going to make sure Neil is alive. So is his heart beating? So you can see that every time his heart contracts, it squirts blood up into his ears, and his ears go red. Between contractions, all the blood drains out, and his ears go white. So if you look at the person sitting next to you, you can actually see their ears flashing red, white, red, white. Actually, you can't see that, because your eyes aren't sensitive enough. But what this little clip on Neil's ear can see is we can see the change in colour. Here's red, here's white, here's red, here's white, here's red, here's white. So this is a heartbeat. So it's good news, Neil, you're alive, mate. The heart's beating away. Boom, 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 boom. So the heart's beating. And so what the software does measures the distance between each one of those beats, and based on the distance between this beat and this beat, it calculates its heart rate. It says it's 76. Then it calculates it again and again and again and again and again. And you can see that his heart rate bobbling along about 75 beats per minute. So pretty relaxed. Sat in a chair, your heart rate should be doing about 75 beats per minute. Okay, so what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to put him under a little bit of pressure and see how well he copes with that kind of pressure. Are you good under pressure, Neil? Oh, we don't know. Right, we're just about to find that out, aren't we? So let's see how well he does under pressure. We haven't started yet, and already his heart rate's kind of creeping up to about 90. So he said, well, what are we going to do here? We're going to give you some mathematics. How good are you at mathematics? Quite good. Oh, he's quite good. So this will be no trouble, right? So look, he thinks he's quite good, but his heart rate's now... I'm good. I'm quite good. Right? He's gone off the charts, and now he's settling back down, and you can see there's a lot of chaos going through his system right now. So even though I'm good at this, that is a natural physiological response to a challenge. You put somebody under pressure, the physiologist, whether he wants it to happen or not. You see, he might look like he's in control. He is not. In fact, I am the puppet master, right? I'm pulling his strings whether he wants me to do that or not. So at the moment, there's a bit of uncertainty. The physiology is sort of settled around about 80, slightly higher than it was before, because he doesn't know what's going to happen. So let's see how well his brain actually functions under pressure. So let's see how good at that maths he really was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count out loud backwards, subtracting threes. I'm going to start you off at a certain number. I want you to take away 3, then give me the answer. Take away 3 again, give me the answer. Take away another 3, give me the answer. And keep going, serial subtractions of 3s without making a mistake. And if you make a mistake, it's 50 quid. Okay, so financial penalty for every error. Okay, so is that all right with you? Okay, so no problem at all. We're going to count out loud backwards, subtracting threes. The mention of 50 quid, look, the heart rate's crept up here to 120, just the tension in the system. So again, I'm just talking to him, that's all that's happening. And actually, by me just talking to him, physiology chaos is kicking in, and that's going to be sending a signal from his heart to his brain that's going to be inhibiting his brain function. We'll see that. So as fast as you can, without making a mistake, serial subtraction of 3, starting off at 300. Go, come on. 300. Come on, faster. 286. 270, 80, 275, 284, 273, 286. What? Well done. Give him a round of applause, everybody. So what you can see is, when I started to feed him the wrong answers, 208, what? Where? You get this, it's called cortical inhibition, or frontal lobe shutdown. So under pressure, the frontal lobe shuts down, and the simplest of tasks, subtract 3 from that number. What? Can't do it. That is happening to all of you when you're under pressure, right? Your brain is built this way. So one of the things you need to learn to do is to get control of that physiological level and switch from a chaotic signal to what's called coherence. So the thing that underpins brain function is the ability to generate a coherent signal. So there's variance, but it's stable variance as opposed to wildly fluctuant variance. And that is the source of your brilliance. So thank you very much.
Right, so thank you, Dr. Alan Watkins. And his talk is on YouTube. It's called Being Brilliant Every Single Day. And now let's get back to the root cause of what causes us to be not well. Hopefully this memory, this little image will bring back some pleasant memories. If you've ever seen a little baby, right? This is how they look. This is where we started. So when we first come into the world, we are in a natural state of peace. So a newborn baby, unless it's hungry or thirsty, or it needs to be cleaned up, it's happy. It's smiling, it's full of joy, of curiosity, etc., etc., etc. So this is where we all started. But somewhere between being in this space and where we are now, we have all of these inputs, the signals that have impacted the body, our physiology, and then it has caused various states of dis-ease, as in not being at ease, which translate into disease, actual illnesses. So physical and mental well-being are both connected to the body. And so if we don't give the body what it needs, we're not able to be at peace. And the state of coherence that Dr. Watkins is talking about is what we're trying to do with the art of meditation. Meditation is, by its very nature, is an exercise in stability, in bringing back that coherence into our lives, a steadiness and simplicity. And so if we want to see how that works, there are lots of examples around us in life. We are part of the ecosystem. And when we look at Mother Nature, there are just beautiful images that are natural works of art. And the same calm, peaceful image can change if there is a storm. And so if we aren't able to create the state of well-being because of the storms, then we are not in control. So when I observe nature, there are lots of lessons to be observed, and there's lots of abundant energy that we can collect from Mother Nature. Taking a walk in nature brings that healing energy into our lives. So if I live in a city and all I interact with is the tube, cars, roads, buildings, guess what? We're not really going to be in the best shape because we're not connecting with nature. So physiology, which is the body, is very much connected to planet Earth. And so my well-being is connected with being in tune and in sync with nature. Something that the so-called civilized world has completely lost. So for me, part of being in a good state of health is being connected with nature. People who garden, I think, will tell you that there is something that just brings a sense of calm just simply by doing some gardening. And if you are a keen gardener, you start learning about the natural cycles. You learn to deal with all sorts of ups and downs. And then you're rewarded when you have some fresh, beautiful vegetables that you've grown yourself. And so I've moved recently. I've got access to a garden, and I managed to grow some tomatoes, which I really, really enjoyed. And so connecting and healing through the physical connection with nature is really important. So I think we can part all of these sort of neurological neuroscience lessons and go back into going into silence, into meditation. So before we do that, just to pause, any questions?
All the attendees are welcome to ask any questions if you have. I think we're good to continue.
Okay, great. So for me, the art of being well mentally, as I said, is first of all, connecting and understanding the signals that are coming from the body, my connection with the environment, with Mother Earth, just a simple act of breathing and relaxing. So in meditation, the first act is just the breathing. Take a deep breath, relaxing. And as I breathe, feel the connection relax. Now we're going to listen to Daddy. Daddy, I think, has been teaching us for decades, no longer with us. Her messages, one of my favorites. So I'm going to let Daddy speak.
Silence. मनुष्य कहते हैं हमको शांति चाहिए, तो हम अनुभव से कहते हूँ शांति तब आएंगी जब साइलेंस में जाएंगे, मन अंदर डीप जाएंगे, अंतर जाना माना सब बैर की बातों को समेट के समा के मैं कौन हूँ अंदर जाओ, अंदर डीप जाओ। जितना अंदर जाएंगे इतना डीप जाओ, जब तक शांति तक, सच्ची शांति तक आत्मा अंदर से नहीं अनुभव किया है, तब तक जल्दी कोई संकल्प की उत्पत्ति मत करो। आदत पड़ गई है, देहमान के कारण, मन कर्मेंद्रों के वश होने के कारण बहुत भटकता है, चलायमान हो जाता है, डोलायमान हो जाता है। बुद्धि फिर अच्छा राइट रॉन्ग, सच झूठ, पाप पुण्य समझते हुए भी बुद्धि ठीक काम नहीं कर सकती। इसलिए परमात्मा बाप इशारा करते हैं, बच्चे मन को भटकना से छुड़ाने के लिए, बुद्धि को स्थिर बनाने के लिए अंदर जाओ, आवाज़ से परे जाओ। भले कान खुले है, आँख खुली है, पर जी चाहता है अंतर्मुखी होकर के एकाग्रता की शक्ति से शांति मेरा स्वधर्म है, शांति का सागर परमात्मा है, तो लिंक परमात्मा से जुड़ जाती। शांति आत्मा का अंदर जाने से अनुभव ये हुआ, मेरा स्व का धर्म ही शांत है। फिर उसमें ये भी अनुभव होता है, सत्य चित्त आनंद स्वरूप आत्मा हूँ। सत्यता क्या है? तो सच्चाई और शांति। साइलेंस में जाने से जो खो बैठे हैं वो वापस अनुभव होती है। साइलेंस में जाना, पहले तो सब दुनिया के आवाज़ों से, निगाहों से परे हो जाना, आवाज़ों से परे ले जाने वाला एक ईश्वर है। तो अंदर जब आत्मा शांत का अनुभव करती है तो परमात्मा से कनेक्शन जुटने से एक तरफ लाइट बने, दूसरी माइट मिल गई। लाइट एक है रोशनी, दूसरा हल्कापन, बॉडी जैसी स्थिति हो जाती है। बॉडी कॉन्शियस में भारी बोन है। जब बॉडी लेस स्थिति बनती, शरीर से डिटैच हो जाते हैं, ईश्वर से कनेक्शन जुटने से जैसे लाइट बने, माइट मिली, इतना प्योरिटी का, पीस का अनुभव आत्मा में हो जाता। तो प्योरिटी, पीस, लव, हैप्पीनेस, पावर, साइलेंस से ऐसे जैसे खोया हुआ खजाना फिर से मिलता है, या परमात्मा बाप से कनेक्शन होने से, जैसे साइंस ने कमाल कर दिखाई है। तो साइंस है, जब पावर हाउस से कनेक्शन है तो सब कुछ मिलता है। जैसे ऊपर वाले से, आलमाइटी से कनेक्शन से, जो हम इंसान की आत्मा को शांति की शक्ति चाहिए, वो शक्ति स्वयं ही शांत रहने का नेचुरल स्वभाव बन जाता है। फिर साइलेंस पावर से अपने ऊपर भी जीत, और साइलेंस पावर से दुनिया में सबके साथ संबंध में आते हुए भी सफलता सदाई ऐसे साथ देती। फिर अंदर से आवाज़ निकलेगा, परमात्मा की दी हुई साइलेंस की शक्ति काम कर रही है। ओम शांति।
Okay. So this is what I wanted to share today. So mental resilience. In Raja Yoga meditation, we often start with the idea of being peaceful, understanding that, yes, I'm a spiritual being, focusing on connecting with that mind, with that intellect, and then getting into that deep silence. However, if we are not aware of the physiology that we are going through every single day, and some of these physiological triggers, some of these physiological conditions have become deeply embedded in the body. Like I say, they have caused us lots of dis-ease over a long period of time, and they actually then become disease. There are many traumas that are buried within the body. And so letting go and bringing the awareness of soul, which is what Daddy was saying, which is focused on the third eye, connecting with that spiritual self, and then obviously tapping into God, the spiritual powerhouse. All of these things become much, much more meaningful and deeper and more powerful when I'm at ease and comfortable in this body, listening to the signals that are coming from each part of the body and the energy that each of those signals generates, which translates into emotions, which then trigger feelings. And so I need to be honest and acknowledge these feelings before I can heal and bring back the inner peace, that original state, that natural, peaceful, joyful, loving state that we are born with. So physically, that is how we are born. Spiritually, the soul, I am positive, pure, loving. So these two very much play a part in my overall mental and, of course, physical well-being. So let's have a bit of meditation. Okay. I acknowledge that my original true self is pure, peaceful, loving. When I breathe in, I relax the body. I breathe out. I consciously let go of any tension, any negativity, any ease that I've accumulated. I connect to God, bringing loving, powerful, peaceful energy, recharging the body, clearing out mental space with each breath. So I reflect on the events over the last week, times when I felt uncomfortable, when I felt I could have done better, I visualize those times, observe myself, people around me, and visualize bringing light and love and healing into the picture. Breathing in, connecting to God, supreme being, ocean of lights, love, filling myself and recharging my spiritual battery with each breath. So I replay those times when things weren't working, feel that scene with positive energy, bringing in light and love, and letting go with each breath. Allowing any disease, any dis-ease accumulated to disappear. Bringing my original natural state of harmony within, with my friends, my family, people at work, my neighbors, people that I interact with, people that I see every day. Visualizing being connected deep within, like the pool or the ocean. There's a depth of silence within me. With each breath, I recharge and spread that energy, sending it out to my room, to my house, to my friends, my family, into the world at large. Om I Flow Shanti Peace. Om. So, thank you all. Hope there's something for you to pick up. And help you in your meditation journey. Any last minute questions?
Any questions anyone wants to ask? I haven't seen any question in the chat box.
Hi, Siddharth. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. You're welcome to
And
ask.
I just want to ask a question. Say, for example, like you're dealing with someone and a situation kind of like, from the past, negative emotions pops up. So at that point, how do you deal with that? Because you start to get kind of involved in that emotions. You want to kind of like move away from it at that point. So how would you deal with that?
So as we looked at today,
Yeah.
the emotion that comes up has a strong connection with the body, especially when it's something from the past. Sometimes we're not even aware of what that connection is. So if there's something, a memory that you're aware of, then that's good. Because whatever happened that's negative actually leaves an impact on the body. There's a physiological and a psychological effect. So there's a body and effect on the body, or effect on the mind. And when there's a memory from the past, an event from the past that keeps on happening, then this cycle that we looked at, every time I have that memory, that thought, I feel a discomfort, that's reinforcing and strengthening that discomfort, right? So it's almost like you're digging a hole in the body and it's going deeper each time this happens. If you've got a hole, what are the two things you can do to deal with any hole? A, you fill it up. B, you can cover it up.
Block
So,
it.
which one is going to be most effective in the long term?
To cover it up, to fill it and let it go.
So if you have a hole and you cover it up, ignore it, does the hole go away?
No, it's there. It's still there.
It's there. So this is the concept about this physiological effect. So there are things that we go through in life and they leave a deep impact, a big hole. And so in Raj Yoga meditation, we are taught that we need to practice this meditation to clear accounts. Accounts are actions that we have done in the past and that have left consequences. Now, when I say actions, somebody did something to me and they hurt me. They may have hurt me physically, and most likely there's a deeper impact, which is the emotional impact. That emotional impact was caused because of something that somebody did, let's say, right? That's an action that has left an account. So even though I didn't do the negative thing, the impact is still in me, the account that is left within me. So clearing that account takes very intense meditation. But if I'm aware of an event, a memory, if it's triggered by a person, a place, if I know that there's a little bit more information about this thing, then I work more directly with that. If it's an event that I have a clear memory about, if it's a memory that's coming up, if it's a person, if it's a place, then we can create visualization exercise by, as I say, this thing that we did just now, where we picture that scene like a replay, like, when you have the replay in a movie or in the sports, you replay the action. But now you rearrange, and instead of what had happened, you replay, you create positive outcome. So this is it's kind of like a trick, if you like, where what you're doing is, instead of the hole that this account has left, if you just replay that memory, that feeling, then the hole is becoming deeper. If I replay that scene and I bring positive energy, I see that scene, I accept it, I acknowledge it. If it was something that somebody did, I can even forgive them. But what I can't do is ignore the emotion or the feeling and say, well, it happened 20 years ago and the person is dead. Nothing I can do. No, it has left it whole. So I accept the emotion, the feeling, which is and say, now I'm going to fill it with positive energy, with love, with healing, with light. And so you recreate the scene, you bring a positive conclusion to it. And the positive conclusion can simply be, yes, I was very hurt. I forgive that person. I forgive myself. I let it go. And that is not just words, it's bringing that memory, connecting to God, bringing God's light and love and energy, and filling that hole, and the deeper the hole, the more whatever times you're going to have to do this. So if a deep hole, I get a shovel and I get some soil and I pick up the shovel and I put it in the hole. Guess what? If it's a very deep hole, I'm going to have to do this shoveling exercise for lots of times. And each time I get it right and I put more positive energy into this, then it becomes less negative as I and it has to be done over a long period of time. But with that consciousness, with that love, and with concentration, it's like physically, it's easier to pick up and move something than mentally to clear and clean. And that's why meditation, we use the word tapasya, which is like a very intense, deep, concentrated form of meditation.
Thank you. I love to do that.
And it also helps in all other things. So definitely something that, it can only help.
Thank you very much.
Feeling is the awareness of the energy, as you just shared in the beginning of the session. Being aware of the energy. Anyone else has got any questions? Okay, so no, few points. There was one of the, I will just add to that a little bit. I was just having like a churning in, and I was thinking that everything requires space. So any physical element requires space, like furniture or anything like that. In the same way, thoughts also, they take space. And this is the only space we have got. So it's up to us, what are we actually prioritizing and giving space to? Whether it is a memory or whether it's good memory or not so good memory. And also what we are feeling. Sometimes I've seen people sharing that they're just feeling low or down. They don't know why or how. It's just that because if you're not involved in anything good, then yeah, something else will occupy that empty space. So do something nice, do something enjoyable. I remember Margaret Barron. Am I right, Rajesh? Margaret Barron in Global House. I attended her session. This was, I think, 2015, and she was sharing, just enjoy whatever you do. You don't have to think about you have to iron clothes. Just say, yeah, I'm going to iron clothes. I'm going to enjoy it. So just dance, enjoy ironing clothes. If you have to wash dishes after you're cooking, after you finish your cooking, just enjoy washing the dishes because you're cleaning them. So yeah, these small things can actually add bit by bit and make a huge difference moving forward. Okay. Anyone else has any other questions? Okay, we got good feedbacks. Kindy, thank you for such a powerful talk. Very useful, helpful knowledge you shared. She's feeling much more courageous to step out of the comfort zone. Wonderful feedback. I hope everyone is feeling enlightened, shared something new, learned something new. Okay, we're coming to the end of this session now. We will have the next session again, which will be in November, the 4th Sunday of November, same time between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. And thank you so much, Rajesh bhai. It was wonderful, short and sweet. Didn't even realize how the time just flew by. It was great. Thank you once again.